Listen, I need to encourage somebody. I want you to know that God is not done with you yet. Now, what am I talking about? You guys, as we go through life, there's going to be things that we're going to have to go through. We're going to have to struggle through. Things are going to seem unfair. We're going to question God like, Lord, do you love me? How can you love me if you're going to allow me to suffer and to struggle through this thing like that? Are you even real? Like, those are questions that we're going to have for the Lord, right? But the Bible says, after you have suffered a little while, right? A little while. Well, God Himself, He Himself, what He's going to do, He's going to establish you, He's going to strengthen you, He's going to make you perfect, and He's going to settle you. He Himself is going to do that, child of God. So don't be discouraged and think like, oh, my situation, is it ever going to change? Because let me tell you, many times the situations that we go through, you guys, they don't look like they'll ever change. It just look like that's just going to be my portion in life, and this is just what I accept. I'm always going to struggle with this bondage, and I'm always going to have this addiction. I'm always going to go through. No, that's not the truth. That's not the truth, child of God, because if you could look back at another part of your life, right? Another part of your life where you may have been struggling, another part of your life you may have been suffering, another part of your life where you probably was going through some things and you didn't see your way out of that stuff, right? So now what you have to do is refer back, look back at that last thing that you didn't see a way out of, but it's over with, right? That's how you encourage yourself. So whatever you're going through now, and when you went through that, child of God, it strengthened you. There was some lessons that you learned along the way. There was some wisdom that you gained. It's in those hard and tough times that we truly get to know God. It is where your faith is strengthened, child of God, right? So don't keep your eyes on the situation that you're going through, right? That's not your final stop. It's not your final destination, right? There's more for you, child of God. More than suffering and struggling and complaining about life and going through this and going. No, but all of that, child of God, is for a reason, right? It's all for a reason. God is not allowing you to go through that for no reason. But let me tell you what should give you comfort, right? Just to know that God is with you while you're going through it, right? You're not in it alone, right? You got to know that God is protecting you. God is keeping you. He got your best interests at heart. He's not going to put more on you than you can bear. So whatever you go through, you can handle it, because He's not going to put something on you that you cannot handle. So you even get to find your strength in those trials and in those hard times, child of God. So I just need somebody to know that your situation has an expiration date. Like, it's not going to always be like it is. I'm telling you, y'all. It's a song that say fear is a liar. Fear is a liar. And what's your fear of you going through that thing, you struggling, suffering with that thing? What's your fear? Are you afraid that maybe you're going to die in this bondage and go to hell, or you're going to suffer through this thing and you're going to end up in hell? Or like, what is your fear? Because whatever that fear is of that thing that you're going through that's causing you to be discouraged, whatever the fear is of the outcome, whatever the outcome is, that's what you're fearing, whatever the outcome is going to be. Am I not going to please God? Am I going to be able to have this? And am I going to be able to have that? I'm struggling with this. Can I have that? No, but fear is a liar, meaning like it looks worse and bigger than what it is because of the fear. Fear magnitudes. It brings it to a different magnitude. Like fear makes it bigger than what it is. Yeah, it looked like it's never going to change. But so what? It looks like that. That's what I'm saying. Listen, if the enemy can keep your eyes on what you're going through, child of God, you're not going to look at the bigger picture. So if he keeps your eyes on what you're going through, you're not looking at what I'm going to come out with once I come out of this thing, right? The Bible says better is the ending of a thing. The ending, meaning the second part of that thing. Once I get to the ending, it's going to be better than it was when I began, right? Because at the end is where I walked along and I learned so many lessons and I gained so much wisdom along the way. But now that that's over, I can look back and say, God, I thank you for allowing me to go through that. Because if I had not went through that, I wouldn't know you like this. Do you know it's in the hard times? It's in the situations that's not fair. It's in the struggles and the trials and the thing. That's where you get to know God at, child of God. That's where you get to know Him at, right? If you never go through anything, you'll never get to know Him. But in those struggles, oh yes, that is where you get to know Him. And we don't always understand why we have to go through what we're going through, but just don't question God. Just know that if God is allowing you to go through it, that there's something that he's trying to produce through it. This thing that you go through, this thing that you're battling with, this situation you're in, God is somehow going to use that for your good. You just don't see it. And that's the thing with us, you guys. Like, we can't always see what the end is going to be, but God knows what the end of it is going to be. So he knows why he's allowing you to struggle through that, or putting you through that, or whatever God is doing. You just have to trust him and know that he knows the plans that he has for your life, right? He knows what's best for you better than you know it, right? Because that thing you're going through, that's what God is going to use to get you to where he needs you to be. And again, you guys, the Bible says that he who hath begun a good work in you is faithful to complete it, right? See, we the ones that start stuff and we don't finish, but if God begins to do a work in your life, child of God, you better know and believe that he's going to complete that thing. Like I said, that's not your final stop. That's not your final destination. There is more for your life. And I don't care how long you've been in what you're going through. I don't care who you're going through it with, and it don't even matter what it is, right? But that's not your final destination. There's more for you. You think you're here for no reason? No, you got a purpose. You got a plan. But if the enemy can keep your mind on what you're going through, you're never going to look at the bigger picture. You see what I'm saying? So you got to keep your eyes on, okay, what is going to come out of this that I'm going through? I'm going to be so much stronger. And let me tell you, as you begin to go through things like these hard times and these trials and tribulations and things, what happens is as you begin to go through more, you've learned so much in one of them. So when you get to the next one, you've learned so much. So it's not even as bad on you. And then the next one, you've learned so much. You know how to trust God. You know it's going to be over. So it's like it's not going to be bad on you. It's like, but as you go, you're going to have to go through these things. And then you're strengthened, being strengthened all the way through. God is strengthening, strengthening, strengthening. So it's like the little ones that you went through before, when they come again, even bigger ones, because you've been through those, you know how to handle those other ones. And it's going to be like, okay, I know this is going to be over with. I ain't going to even stress it. It's what it is right now. But I know I'm going to come out a stronger person, closer to God. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I need you to know that God is not done with you yet, child of God. Again, don't let the enemy keep your mind on what you're going through, right? Look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture. What am I going to come out with, right? He himself will establish you. He himself will make you strong. He himself will settle you. But the Bible says after you have suffered a little while, right? A little while. That's not a permanent situation. It's not a permanent situation. And I feel like I'm speaking to somebody because you're going through something, or you're in a situation, or there's a way that you feel, or there's a character trait about you, and it just seems like this just gonna be my portion for the rest of my life. I don't see a way out of this. But don't let fear lie to you like that. Don't let the enemy lie to you like that. God is able. That situation is not bigger than God. I always say, if God can't turn it around, then it cannot be turned around. But he can turn it around, and he will turn it around, child of God, if you believe that he can, right? So I just need somebody to know, just be encouraged that, that's not your final destination. There's more for you, child of God, right? So don't give up on God. Just continue to hold on to your faith, and know that if God be for you, it's more than the whole world against you. And know that weeping may endure for a night. Oh yes, but it is joy that is coming in the morning, right? So just know, child of God, that situation you're in is not a permanent one, right? God is not done with you yet. There's greater things coming ahead for your life, all right? Be blessed.